So we've all heard about AI. I mean, it's basically everywhere. Every tool or software of any kind starts to advertise their product with some sort of AI features. I've been using AI for the past 4 years very intensively, and meanwhile I couldn't imagine any of my workflows without AI anymore. And one thing that I keep noticing watching my developer colleagues or friends without a technical background is that most people don't use AI properly and just miss out on so much. So I'm going to show you how I'm using AI for most of my everyday tasks as a software engineer, maximizing my developer velocity, and even for the things that aren't technical at all and just save me so much time. And at the end, we'll talk about the elephant in the room, whether AI is actually going to replace our jobs as developers. So stick around. Okay, so let's begin with one of the biggest mistakes people make: using AI as a one-size-fits-all approach. If you would ask most people about AI and what models they know, they will say ChatGPT. Maybe Gemini if they are a little bit deeper into the AI space, but that's it. And this is a problem. ChatGPT is obviously a fantastic model and is able to do most of your simple tasks with ease, but let's compare this to a toolbox. You wouldn't just use a hammer to build all your stuff, would you? And that's pretty much what ChatGPT is, a mega hammer, because it can do so many things on a solid level. But just like you wouldn't use a hammer to cut wood or measure distance, you shouldn't rely on ChatGPT for everything. Let me show you what I mean. In my daily work as a software engineer, I have a bunch of different tasks, but primarily I obviously have to write code and build new features for our clients. And even though I think I'm pretty good at it, I'm using AI for more than half of my tasks. I'm a better backend than frontend developer, so naturally I'm using it for frontend tasks all the time. And this is exactly where using the right AI tool makes all the difference. I think I've tried almost every larger AI model there is, and at the moment I'm using Claude for all of my programming work. It's currently the best model for understanding and writing complex code, but that changes all the time, so currently I'm subscription hopping, always trying the new best model for a while. But here's also where most developers mess up. They have no idea how to prompt and throw a large or multiple code snippets into an AI with prompts like "fix this" or "make it better." I like comparing an AI model to a colleague of yours. If you would talk to another developer, you wouldn't just tell him to fix it. You would tell him all the necessary infos he needs in order to understand what exactly you want from him. And this is exactly how good prompting works. Imagine AI as a super smart senior developer who knows everything about code, but has no idea on what you're working on and needs just the right information to help you. But then again, Claude can't do everything. I only use Claude for coding, and if I need to design a user interface, for example, I use Midjourney. Each tool has its sweet spot. Another example is for everyone out there struggling with learning math. Again, Claude etc. do a good job doing that as well, but there are tools like MathGPT that are specifically made to do only that, teach you math. So not only are they better doing it, they're also less likely to do mistakes, because GPT still makes a lot of mistakes sometimes. And we could continue this list for 100 more examples, but you get what I'm saying. Use the right tools for the right jobs, and don't be afraid to try new ones. Because at the end of the day, trying to fix everything with just your hammer, well, you know how that's gonna end. And by the way, most of you guys watching aren't subscribed, so if you like my content, please consider it. It really helps my channel a lot. Alright, you get it. AI is fantastic for programming, but actually I think I use it even more for other things that have nothing to do with development. Earlier I said that I couldn't imagine any of my workflows without AI anymore, and I meant that. I try to replace all those little very time-consuming tasks like writing emails and responding to them, or writing anything in general, with AI. It's also great for translating texts and easily a million times better than Google Translate. It just saves me so much time in general. If you have watched some of my other videos, you know that I help my mom managing her practice and handle all the administrative work. And one of the most annoying things are customer emails asking me stupid stuff that's written all over the website. The best part is that they are literally using the contact form on the website I made instead of reading for a single second. And at some point I noticed a pattern, because they always asked similar questions, so I took all the content from the website, including our services, prices, etc., fed them into an AI and connected it to my inbox, and magically automated all the repetitive emails. I have given it a custom rule set notifying me if the AI thinks I can't answer properly, but that alone saves me at least 5 hours per week. But the biggest time saver by far is probably writing. I have to write a lot of different texts, whether it is for a customer of my agency, documenting something for work, or sending out an offer for a new project. Writing high quality texts takes time. You have to think about what you want to say, find the right words, and then apply correct grammar. It takes forever. But unfortunately, AI isn't that good that I can just blindly take any text it writes for me, so I use a different approach. Whenever I want to write anything, I usually have an idea in my head how the text should look like and what points I want to cover. So I start writing the skeleton of it, trying to just write all of my thoughts down, not caring about grammar or spelling at all. This combined with a short prompt of what I want to achieve works perfect for me. And not only am I 10 times faster, the texts are also articulated very well, written without any errors, and also have my personal touch in them. There are just so many use cases in my daily life using AI, and it's impossible to list them all. I just want to say that you could probably use AI for literally anything you do, and even if you can make one single thing easier of the task you're working on, it will save you so much time in the long run. Let me also give you a few examples of how useful AI is while I'm programming. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a pretty bad front-end developer. I can make it work just fine, but it's usually not very pretty. I'm working with React and a lot of JavaScript in general, and it's such an enormous advantage having an AI pair programming with you, explaining all sorts of different components, how they work, what they do, and when you should use them. And of course, I'm also learning something doing so and improving my React skills every day. It also comes in very handy for those boring but necessary tasks. A couple days ago, I had to create a list of at least 50 fake companies for our test environment. They all had to have a realistic name, a real address, and also a real company identification number. It's a special format here in Switzerland. And jobs like this are not only super boring, they also take forever. So I made 2 or 3 example records, explained the formatting of the desired data, and in a few seconds I had better testing data than I could have ever made myself. But here's something really important I need to mention. While it's great to have AI refactor your code and improve its performance or readability, you still have to be careful about what exactly you feed into it. I personally work on projects that are classified, and I've also worked on government software before, so obviously I can't show you guys the code I'm writing here. But this same principle applies to AI. We developers have to be very careful about what we blindly paste into GPT, Claude or whatever, because sometimes there are API keys in our code or general sensitive information that should absolutely not be made public just like that. And talking about the dangerous stuff, I also want to mention a couple of things that you should be aware of when you're using AI. The first thing is for all the younger devs that are just getting started with coding. You guys are lucky, because you chose the easiest time ever to get started with coding. Because you don't only have millions of free resources in the internet you can use to learn, you also have the almighty computer gods which can solve all your beginner problems in 5 seconds. And while this is very cool, it's also very dangerous for your skill set. All the developers that learned to code before AI was a thing can probably relate to this. When we had a problem, we had to actively search for an answer and read through Stack Overflow articles or watch YouTube videos. And while this was very exhausting, it still taught us how to think through problems, how to evaluate solutions, and how to deeply understand what exactly we're building. And I'm saying that it's dangerous because I've seen it in the last months working with younger devs. They are just throwing questions at AI and copy-pasting the first answer they get. If it runs, they ship it. No questions asked, and that's just dangerous. And that brings us to the second point. Blindly trusting AI. While AI is usually very reliable and gives you pretty good answers most of the time, sometimes it just gives you complete garbage. Code that works but is either inefficient, insecure, or just plain wrong. And if you haven't developed the skills to recognize good code from bad, you won't catch these mistakes. What I'm trying to say is AI should be enhancing your development skills, not replacing them. You still need to understand what exactly you're building. You still need to know what good code looks like, because at the end of the day, you're the developer. AI is just your very knowledgeable assistant. Alright, so is AI going to steal our jobs? This is one of the questions I get asked all the time by people that are interested in getting into software engineering, and also people that have nothing to do with the fields. Look, I totally get why people are worried. You see all these flashy headlines about AI writing entire applications, and yeah, it can be scary. But here's what I think about it. AI isn't replacing developers, it's replacing tasks. Those repetitive, time-consuming parts of our job? Yeah, AI is taking those over for sure. And honestly, that's a good thing. I don't miss writing boilerplate code or basic CRUD operations from scratch. But here's what AI can't do. It can't understand the bigger picture. It can't sit in a meeting with the client and translate their messy real-world problems into elegant technical solutions. And also, most of the time, the client doesn't even know what the hell he wants, so how is an AI supposed to know? It can't make architectural decisions that will affect the project for years to come. And most importantly, it can't understand the human aspect of software development. Think about it. Every meaningful piece of software is ultimately built to solve human problems. And understanding those problems, that's not just about code. That's about experience, intuition, and human judgment. And sometimes we even choose the objectively wrong solution for something just because the customer wants it this way. So no, AI won't replace developers, but, and this is very important, it will replace developers who can't or won't adapt. The developers who refuse to learn how to work with AI, they are the ones who should be worried, because the future isn't AI replacing developers. It's developers who use AI replacing developers who don't. But at the end of the day, what the hell do I know? I'm just a guy just like you trying to predict the future. I could be completely wrong and be homeless next year because OpenAI releases ChatGPT 20 Ultra Pro Mega Max that can do everything way better than any human. 20 years ago, there was this trend researcher guy called Matthias Hawks, and he said that the internet wouldn't become a mass medium because he thought it was too complicated to use in contrast to a radio or a simple telephone. Well, joke's on him, now we have kids watching YouTube or TikTok videos on their fridge. Let me know what you guys think about AI and if we're all gonna be out of a job soon. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel out a lot. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.